Welcome back to Philosophy Simplified, where we explore profound philosophical ideas from around the world and across time. In today's episode, we turn our attention to one of the most controversial and fascinating schools of thought in Indian philosophy, the Charvaka philosophy. Unlike most Indian philosophies that emphasize spirituality and transcendence, Charvaka stands out as a bold advocate for materialism, skepticism, and hedonism. So, what does this ancient philosophy teach us, and why is it so radical? Let's find out. Charvaka, also known as Lokayata, is often described as the materialist school of Indian philosophy. It challenges the conventional norms of spirituality and morality by focusing on direct perception and pleasure as the primary means to truth and happiness. To understand Charvaka, we need to go back to its roots in ancient India. The Charvaka philosophy is said to have emerged around the 6th century BCE, during a time when various schools of thought were flourishing in India. While most of these philosophies advocated for spiritual growth, liberation, or ethical living, Charvaka took a different path, a path rooted in materialism and empiricism. The term Charvaka is derived from charu, meaning beautiful, and vaka, meaning speech. The followers were known for their sharp and critical arguments against the prevailing religious and philosophical doctrines of the time. So, what did the Charvaka school believe? At its core, Charvaka philosophy is based on materialism. It argues that the only reality is the material world we perceive with our senses. Unlike other schools that advocate for an eternal soul or a transcendent reality, Charvaka posits that there is no afterlife, no karma, and no spiritual world. Charvaka thinkers believed that consciousness arises from the physical body, much like the intoxicating effect of alcohol arises from the fermentation of ingredients. Therefore, once the body perishes, consciousness ceases to exist. When it comes to knowledge, Charvaka's epistemology is rooted in empiricism. The only valid source of knowledge, according to Charvaka, is pratyaksha, or direct perception. They rejected inference, testimony, and other means of knowledge as unreliable. For Charvaka, if something cannot be directly perceived, it should not be considered real or true. This rejection of metaphysical speculation led to their skeptical stance against the Vedas, Upanishads, and other scriptures, which they saw as mere fabrications. Charvaka thinkers were not shy about critiquing the religious practices and moral doctrines of their time. They argued that religious rituals, sacrifices, and priestly authority were all means to exploit the masses. According to Charvaka, these rituals offered no tangible benefits and only served to uphold the power of the priestly class. In terms of morality, Charvaka proposed a form of ethical hedonism. The ultimate goal of life, they argued, is to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. But unlike unrestrained hedonism, Charvaka also emphasized rational pleasure-seeking, suggesting that one should seek joy without incurring unnecessary harm or suffering. Though Charvaka was a minority school and faced heavy criticism from other philosophical traditions, its bold stance and critique of social and religious norms had a significant impact. It challenged the status quo and offered an alternative perspective that questioned the foundations of faith, ritual, and dogma. While Charvaka texts themselves were mostly lost or destroyed, their influence is evident in the works of later philosophers who engaged with and critiqued their ideas, thereby enriching the philosophical discourse. Even today, the spirit of Charvaka resonates with modern secular and humanist movements that prioritize rational inquiry, empirical evidence, and a life focused on the present. It reminds us to question, to think critically, and to seek happiness in the here and now. Charvaka's emphasis on direct perception and its critique of dogmatic beliefs can serve as a valuable perspective in today's world, where blind faith often competes with reason and evidence-based understanding. What are your thoughts on Charvaka's materialist philosophy? Do you see any parallels with modern secular or scientific perspectives? Share your reflections in the comments below. If you found this episode enlightening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our next exploration of philosophy.